I'm Mike Sullivan. Today we'll be working on greenside bunker shots with wet or very firm sand. So we're outside near the practice bunker. In a second we're going to go in there and take a look at our lie. And as we go into a bunker that is either wet, with wet packed down sand from rain, or maybe it's just, let's face it, the golf course hasn't gotten around to filling the bunkers up with sand lately. We've got to look at the actual situation we're in, and what we want to do is we want to get a feel for the surface we're going to be playing out of as we're walking into the bunker. Now today, it's a beautiful day. We haven't had rain in a while, so I actually poured a bunch of water into the bunker to give us that kind of a wet lie, that more compact lie. But normally when we walk in, we're going to get a feel for that. And believe it or not, just walking in, you should be able to gain a sense as to how much that sand is going to move as you hit your bunker shot, because you've got some experience. So let's go ahead and take a look at the lie we've got right now. Okay, so here's our lie, and I'm going to go ahead and touch the sand a little bit. You cannot do this on the golf course. I'm testing the surface, so you can see, and you'd be amazed how oftentimes after a rainstorm, if there's a good amount of sand in the bunker, you know, there's something that we can go ahead and splash out of here. As we play this shot, what we want to do is we want to hit the sand. We do not want to hit the ball. Oftentimes when I see people get into a hard bunker situation, what they'll do is they will try to pick that ball and they'll try to hit it like a chip shot. They catch it the teeniest bit heavy, and then what happens is they just kind of dig down into that sand and they get a bad result. Or they try to compress that ball by hitting the ball first, but the sand is still fairly soft and it kind of mushes in the sand. They don't get a good shot with that either. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna still hit behind the ball, but we're going to hit closer to the ball than we would with softer sand. So typically when we're playing a bunker shot that is very soft sand, we can go ahead and we can make contact, an inch and a half, 2 inches behind the ball. In this shot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make contact much closer to the ball, maybe only an inch or 3/4 of an inch behind the ball. Now, since I'm going to be playing this closer to the ball, yes, this shot is more difficult. This shot does not give you as big of a window, a margin of error, as a perfectly dry bunker. But that's what we have to deal with. So let's give this a shot. Okay, so now on the equipment that I'm using, what I'm using here is I'm using a 60-degree wedge, but I'm not using it because it's got 60 degrees of loft. I'm using it because it's a very, very low bounce wedge, this particular wedge. So I'm not going to have to worry about too much of the bounce of the club, making the club strike the hard sand or the wet sand and bounce up into the ball. So let's give this a try. And I'm going to try to make contact really close to the ball here as I get this club moving through. Club face pointing right at the target, weight forward, and I'm going to keep my weight on my front foot. There we go, right out. So you can see that particular shot, there was some fluffy sand down through that that actually aided me, and my club dug a little bit, but I made pretty good contact, so the ball came out nicely. Now, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of a bunch of this sand and see how it works if we're really actually playing on dirt. So let's try it that way. So now what we've done is I've just removed a bunch of the sand, and now there is not a lot of sand there. And this is the type of shot that you would know when you walk in the bunker, you could feel under your feet that you're not really sinking down very much. I do have to move a little bit of the sand to put my feet down properly, but again, I'm gonna play it similar to the last one. I'm gonna try to hit a little bit closer to the ball, and I'm using a club with very little bounce, and I'm going to still make, and the way I like to think about it when we're hitting a bunker shot, I like to think about the sand coming out of the bunker just like water, a wave coming out of a pool. And so now I'm just gonna have a smaller amount of sand come out. I'm gonna have a smaller wave of sand. And one of the big keys here for me is keeping my weight on my front foot, because that really helps me to be able to hit the spot that I want to hit. If I keep my weight centered in the bunker and I make a weight shift going back and a weight shift through, it's just harder for me to hit my spot. So I really advocate these greenside bunker shots, trying to keep your weight steady and on your front foot. So let's try. I'm gonna hit really close to the ball. Let's see if I can get this to come out nicely. There we go. Look at that, all right? And I actually made contact much farther back than I thought I was going to, but it worked out because I didn't go digging down in there too deep, and I didn't get that club to bounce up out of the sand. So, when you're in these bunkers that are short on sand or are wet, don't panic, use less bounce, and try to make contact a lot closer to the ball. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up for a like. And if you subscribe to our channel, you'll be notified by email each time that we produce a new instructional video. Okay, so here we are. It's a greenside bunker, but it's a